Do you recommend paying off smaller debts first or just go for the big? How do you start a YouTube channel for budgeting? I'm thinking about starting soon, but I don't know how to edit and everything else. How do you stay motivated to save money? Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Ashley and this is a budgeting and lifestyle channel. Today we are going to be doing part 1 of our Q&A that I did for our 1,000 subscriber giveaway, and there are a lot of great questions, so let's get started. The first question, and it was asked quite a bit, was how old am I? I am 27, my husband is 28, and I have a 2, almost 3-year-old son, and I have a 1-year-old daughter. She just turned 1 in May, so she is very cute. They're both very cute and I love them so much. The next question, and I actually really like this one, is have any of your family members started budgeting because of you starting your channel? My family has actually been really great about budgeting. My family from the beginning, and I can actually remember it like it was literally yesterday, and I was probably like 6, 7, is my mom and my dad told me that if you have $1 million and you spend $1 million in 1 penny, you're broke. You're in debt. And so my parents have always literally been very cognizant about their budget, specifically my mom. She's incredible with money and she is single, and my parents are divorced and my dad has remarried, and so him and his wife are pretty good with their money. But my mom specifically is incredible. She has goals. She literally, I love my mom. She is so driven. If she has something she needs to save for, she will literally eat out of her freezer. She will scrounge around. She will do anything that she can to make sure that she saves every single penny. Like, she just built her own house and she paid everything in cash. She's just like literally so motivating. So I've had really good examples in my life. Did I want to listen to it when I was a kid? Absolutely not. So if you're there right now, literally one day you'll realize how honestly smart your parents were. But other than that, I wouldn't say per se my family has been on board, because they were always pretty on board. Another thing that my parents always told me is that sometimes there's people that really like to keep up with the Joneses, and sometimes you might see people on YouTube who look like they have it all, and sometimes you might see people, friends, family, who drive really nice cars, or you know, their house is really nicely furnished. But the thing that you might not know is that those people might have credit cards, and those credit cards might be maxed out, and they might be really in debt because they too are trying to keep up with the Joneses. And so when you see somebody who you know what they do for work, or even if you don't know what they do for work, you just never can assume anyone's situation, because they might be massively in debt. And just because you don't have all the nice things right now, if you stick to your budgeting and you stick to your goals, God willing, you will be able to afford those things, but you won't have a loan out for them, or you won't have credit cards filled to the max, and you won't have the IRS on you or something like that. So just don't get caught in that. Be very careful of getting caught in that keeping up with the Joneses mentality, because this life is so temporary and you can't take those things to the grave. And so just remember that. All right, so the next question is, what is the best way to save when income is very limited or you have one income? And I love this question because it's just a reality for a lot of people. It used to be my reality, and it was just so gut-wrenching when I didn't have enough money to pay my bills even, or you know, if I didn't have enough money to go out with my friends or to go on that trip that my other friends were going to, or however it may be. It was just gut-wrenching and just an awful feeling to have. And so my advice for that right off the bat is write out your budget. Okay, write out every single dollar, however it goes, your house payment, your rent, your car insurance, gas, whatever it may be. Write out everything. And so then right after you've written that all out, you need to figure out what your fixed bills are, what your variable bills are, what your required sinking funds are, what your fun sinking funds are, and then what are your saving goals. And so fixed bills, if you do not know, are things like rent. They're things like, I say cell phone. Cell phone might not be a necessity for some people, but cell phones, car payment, car insurance, things like that. Those are all fixed bills. And then you'll make sure that you have all of those paid first. And then the next step would be variable bills. And to me, variable bills are things like gas, because some months, if I'm going to be driving, say, somewhere farther, I will make my budget more. Or some months I know I won't be going anywhere, like in the winter time, so I'll make my budget less. Or things like groceries. Some months I know my groceries are gonna be more expensive. Some months I know my groceries are gonna be less expensive. So those to me are things that you can take and give from. So those are variable bills. And then you wanna make sure you have all of those paid after you've paid your fixed bills. Then you come to your sinking funds. Your sinking funds, there are two categories in my mind: sinking funds that are required and sinking funds that are for fun. And so sinking funds, like car insurance for me, is a sinking fund because I pay it every 6 months and it is a required sinking fund. So I have to pay that at 6 months or I cannot drive my car. So I wanna make sure that my required sinking funds are paid first. Fun sinking funds like clothing, beauty, what else do I have? Kids allowance. Those are sinking funds that are fun for me, or they're things that I want, but I can scratch from those if I do not have money in the month. So then you want to make sure that you pay whatever your sinking funds are that are your fun sinking funds. Now, after you've gone through all of that, you come to your savings, because yes, savings is important, but also paying your bills is very important as well. And so then if you come through all of those categories, your fixed, your variable, your important sinking funds, and then your fun sinking funds, and you don't have any money left over for savings, you need to reevaluate your budget, because I guarantee you there is a way that you can scratch some money. It is not the case for everyone. Some people are on a very tight budget, and I completely understand. Been there, literally been there. But sometimes, and I'm guilty of it myself, you have Hulu, you have Netflix, you have Amazon Prime, you have cable, you have whatever it may be, you have all of these. And honestly, when it comes down to it, what is more important to you is going to kind of reflect your decision here. I got rid of Hulu, I got rid of Netflix, I kept Amazon Prime because I shop there as well, but they also have really great shows and movies if I want to watch something. And so reevaluating your budget in that sense, like, okay, maybe I can just get by with one for a couple months because my savings is really important to me this month. That is where you kind of take from your budget. Or another place that you can really find some money if you really put your heart to it is in your grocery budget. Now, a way you can save in your groceries is eating more plant-based foods like rice, beans, as your bulk of your meal, and then putting veggies or some chicken or however you want to dress it up, if you're vegan or however you want to put it into there. You just dress it up that way, but those kind of meals really help your pockets, and you can honestly save even $100 from your grocery budget just by eating plant-based foods as like the bulk. And so just look in your budget where you can scrounge around some money, or maybe instead of going to get coffee, say you get coffee 3 out of 5 days or 3 out of 7 days of the week, hold back just for 1 week. Or something that I actually do now is I don't go get coffee from Starbucks all the time anymore. I used to get it like literally every day. Now I just bought some cold brew from the store and I bought some creamer and I just make my own coffee. And honestly, I've learned to like it, and it saves me $5 a pop literally every single time. And that can just add up so quickly. So reevaluate what your pleasures are and things that you might not want to give up, but if your savings is really important to you, just know that those are areas that you can scrounge some money from. All right, so the next question, and I thought it was literally so kind, and I actually get asked this quite a lot, is what is your skincare routine? Your skin looks flawless. And that is so sweet of you to say. I don't have a skincare routine. I literally just washed my face with Shea Moisture Baby Wash, and that's pretty much it. However, I live in Washington State. We experience all 4 seasons, and I love it. Winters are brutal. So I am saving up for a face moisturizer right now that I will hopefully be able to splurge on when wintertime comes, because my face does get extremely dry in the winter. No matter how much water I drink, it just gets extremely dry. So I really want to splurge on that this year and kind of take better care of my skin so that I don't age up like a shriveled old lady. The next question is, and I will honestly make an entire video on this because I wish that more people did, and I don't understand why more people don't. How do you start a YouTube channel for budgeting? I'm thinking about starting soon, but I don't know how to edit and everything else. I did not know what I was doing. I knew for almost 2 years that I wanted to start a YouTube channel, and I just kept saying, okay, tomorrow I'll do it. Okay, tomorrow I'll do it. I'll do it later. I'll do it whenever. Like, what if no one watches me? Like, who cares? Who cares if no one watches you? Do what you want to do. If you want to start a YouTube channel and it's your passion, do it. If you want to do anything in life and it's your passion, do it. Your energy and your passion is what will attract people to you, and that will bring you success, God willing, in anything that you do. But if you want to start specifically a budgeting YouTube channel, the first thing that you are going to need to do is create a YouTube channel, obviously. So create your username, you'll just go to YouTube, sign on, make a name that can grow with your channel. Because right now, like, I know for sure that God willing, I will always budget. So I will always do my budgeting videos. But I didn't want to pick a name that was specific to budgeting because although I love budgeting and I want to do my budgeting videos forever, I also wanted to be able to do clean with me videos or to do hauls or to do anything like that that gave me room to grow. So I didn't want to put budgeting in my name or, you know, anything like specific to that. So make sure you choose a name that will reflect how you want to grow in your channel over the years. Then the next thing after you do your YouTube channel and you have your username all picked out is you're going to want to create an AdSense account, because with YouTube, after you reach 1,000 subscribers and you reach 4,000 watch hours, you are actually able to make revenue from it. And thank you God, and thank you to you guys, I am actually now able to make an income from this, and that is incredible. Specific to budgeting, and honestly any channel, you need to get a tripod. Like, there's just no way around it. And if you are starting off in the beginning and you don't have a ton of money, you're gonna want to have a camera, right? But I didn't have money to buy a $1,500 camera, and I don't have a laptop. I don't have any editing software that's like super crazy good. So that's why you guys see that I have a laptop sinking fund, because I'm saving up for a camera, and I'm saving up for a laptop, and I'm saving up for Final Cut Pro, so that eventually when I have the money for that, my videos can get a lot better and my quality can get a lot better. But right now I'm honestly filming on a $20 tripod and my iPhone 11. How do you balance having a YouTube channel, family, work, and daily chores / duties? I honestly would say that I lack in one thing every single day, but no matter what, my kids will always come first. My marriage will always come first. If I cannot give to them 100%, I would stop YouTube. I put everything I have for them, and then anything that's left over, I will do my chores, and then I will do YouTube. However, I have an incredibly supportive spouse who, you know, right now, just to film this video, he took the kids to the park, because I wouldn't want to film a sit-down video if I had toddlers running around in the background and screaming and whatever else. And so he's incredibly supportive of me in that realm, because he sees how much I want this and how much it means to me and how much I love you guys. And so he honestly saves me so much time and just saves me in general. And then also with house cleaning and chores, I still work outside of the house 20 hours a week, and then I do YouTube and pull an income from here now too. And so my husband is really cognizant of that, and so he helps me out around the house just as much as I honestly help around the house. He's really good at doing laundry, he puts it away, like everything. So honestly, if I did not have a supportive husband and I did not have pretty dang good kids, it would be a lot harder for me to get those things done. And then just YouTube is something I'm passionate about. It's a hobby of mine. I really love it, and it's really fun, and I get so excited to do things for you guys, and I get so excited to like talk about what's going on or talk about budgeting, because it's just something that I'm passionate about and I love it. And so coming to YouTube doesn't feel like work, but that is how I'm able to balance everything. Work, honestly, is a breeze. It does suck because Matt works Monday through Friday, right? And then I work the weekends. So we don't really have a full day off together as a family, which really does suck. And it sucked so bad in the beginning, but it just feels like life now. And so it actually works out really well. And honestly, I love my job so much. And so I'm honestly in a place in my life where I'm really happy, and I'm really grateful for that. All right, so the next question is, how long have you been budgeting and planning? So I feel like on some level, I've always loved making lists, and I've always kind of written down what my bills were. But there was definitely a point in my life before children that I was definitely not very cognizant of like how much I was spending, or I never was budgeting per se. Like, I knew what my bills were, but I just didn't care if I had enough money to pay them, and I was irresponsible and like whatever else. And so how long I've been like budgeting, to a degree, I would say 3 years, but since I have budgeted by paycheck, which is where I really started seeing my results, was November of 2019. And then January is when I really was like, okay, I am gonna jump head into this, and I really want to start a YouTube channel, and I'm really passionate about it, and it's something that I'm really excited to share with the world. So yeah, I've been budgeting very hardcore since November 2019. All right, so the next question is, do you have a job outside of the home, and what do you do? And yes, I do have a job outside of the home. I work for a company that is in radiology. And if you don't know what radiology is, it's like MRIs, CTs, X-rays, mammograms, anything like that. And so I'm fortunate to have that job. I work 20 hours a week. I work on the weekends. And it's just a really, really nice way to bring extra budget into our household. My husband, eventually, he's going back to school in the fall. He really doesn't want me to go to work anymore because, like I said, we never get a day alone together, and it would be really nice to be able to live off of one income. But I just wouldn't feel secure in myself. And I really have always been somebody who wants to bring something financially to the table. And so I feel like even if we could really afford to live off of one income, it would still be really hard for me not to be able to pull some sort of income from somewhere, because I just always have been that way. And I always want to make sure that I'm feeling like validated in another way other than just like parenting or being a wife. That's not everyone, but that's just personally me. Okay, so the next question is, what do you do when you go over your grocery budget? And honestly, we have been really good about sticking to our grocery budget, but last month, we went over our grocery budget, and I am still like completely taken back by it because I just don't really understand what we did different that made us go over. We went like almost $300 over our grocery budget, and our grocery budget is $700. So it's a lot of money. Like, we normally don't have any problem sticking to it. The only thing I can think of is that we had Rosie's birthday, but for her groceries, I took it from Holiday. But when I went grocery shopping for that, I also bought groceries for the rest of the week. So I feel like maybe I just bought some more stuff than I would normally do, or I just don't know. I really don't know why we went over budget so much. But it has definitely made me more cognizant for this month, because I'm just like afraid to go over budget, because we don't usually have a problem in groceries for going over budget. So that's just real life, guys. Like, honestly, I might have a channel, but I'm still human. I still go over budget sometimes. So I just want to put that out there. Like, I'm right there with you. I go over. But the question is, what do I do when I go over? So if I go over, like say it is the first of the month, so I renew my grocery budget every single week because we get paid every single week. So if I go over 1 week, I will take a little bit from the next week, and I will go to, like I said before, I will eat more power bowls. So I'll eat like quinoa, rice, and beans, and those will be a meal, or more pastas, or kind of cut back on those like luxury items. I won't buy meat for Matt or something like that, and we'll just strictly stick to like a still healthy, but more of those bulky foods like rice and beans. And so I will try to take from there, or I won't get celery to juice or something like that if I go over budget. And I actually went over budget last week for the week, and took from this week's budget and lowered it, as you guys saw in my last video. Now, say I were to go over budget for the entire month like I did last month, I personally will not take money away from the next month. And here's why. If I were to take money from the next month's groceries, I would have a problem being able to stay on budget, because it wouldn't be realistic for me next month, right? So you could take maybe $100 away from the next month, but personally I wouldn't, because I know that I pretty much need every single dollar for my grocery budget, because we're a family of 4 and we like to eat really healthy. And so like, I know that if I were to take $300 away from the next month, there's no way I would be able to stick to budget, because no matter how many rice and beans I ate, or how, you know, I scrounged around, like that just would not be feasible for me. And I wouldn't want to do that, because I want to make sure my kids are fed really healthy, and I want to make sure I'm fed really healthy. And so like, I just personally wouldn't take from the next month, because I know that accountability wise, I wouldn't be able to be accountable for that. And I'm just having grace on myself, and I know that. And so it's what works for me. It might not be feasible, and it might not work for you, and you might have to take a little bit of money from the next month because you might have spent a little bit too much the month before. So that's personally what I will do. So like this month, I'm maintaining our normal grocery budget, but I'm just being extremely cognizant. Like, I would like to challenge myself to go under budget. but I'm not gonna take that money away. And that's just me personally, and that is what's worked for me. Okay, so the next question, and I just like am really hesitant to answer this question because I want to do an entire video on it, but I am going to answer it, is how do you stay motivated to save money? Hands down, the number one thing that motivates me and like will always be my number one motivator is my children. Absolutely. And there's another question that I'll just answer with this question is, what was the moment in your life that really brought you to budgeting? And it was when I had children. And I'll just start here. My mother was always the most selfless person. If I ever, and don't mistake this, she didn't give me everything I wanted. I had to work for a lot of things that I got, but if I wanted to play club volleyball and she knew I was good at it, she would work extra hours literally to be able to afford the fees for club volleyball. And it's not cheap. And so she would just work and work and work to be able to give me anything I wanted. But there was also times where it was like things would come up, and not just things I wanted, but things in general. And she always made sure we had food. She always made sure our rent was paid. She always made sure, and if she had to work a couple extra hours a week, 10 hours extra a week, she would do it because she always wanted to make sure that I was taken care of. And I just like, I realized how selfless she was and how selfless I wanted to be with my children. And that was my number one motivation right there. But if I were to talk physically about like what keeps me motivated other than my children and my husband and my like whatever, it would be my goals to make sure my binder is really nice, really kept, really neat. Make sure I have some really cool pens, highlighters, you know, anything that like excites me to come to it. If stickers is something that you really enjoy and that would keep you motivated, don't go overboard. Don't spend hundreds of dollars on those stickers. But like, if that's something that keeps you motivated, do it. If doodling in your budget planner when you have some free time is what keeps you motivated, do it. If you know, like you want to make sure you have really cute envelopes, do it. Personalize it to you. That right there makes me motivated. Right now, my budget book is literally trashed. It is like pages don't even match anymore. I need to do an entire haul over it. And so I just haven't enjoyed going down to it as often as I normally do because it's not kept up. And so that for me is definitely a motivator. And I love my highlighters. I love my pens. I love my little wallet that I have, my little zipper bag that I have for all of my highlighters. And I just, that right there makes me motivated to go to it. And if stickers is something that helps people or whatever it may be that helps people, maybe you just want to do it on Excel. Just find what works for you and just stick to it, because if it's clean and it's tidy and it's exciting, you're gonna wanna go to it. Okay, so the next question is, where do you get your supplies from? So my binder, my highlighters, and my pens are from Walmart, but if I can find them on Amazon, I will link them for you guys. My envelopes are from Amazon, and my binder that I use for my sinking funds is from Hobby Lobby, and I cannot find it online to link it, but what I can find I will link down below in the description box. But I love the envelopes I use because of the zipper. I know that there are way cuter envelopes out there, and I know that that would be really nice to be able to have really cute envelopes, but I just loved having the zipper because in case my kids ever got their little hands on it, it would be harder for them to get into the money as quickly, or it wouldn't fall out. I just felt more secure in that, and I like that you can see when you flip the page how I have that expense tracker. I like that I can just flip the page and be like, okay, I have this much money in there, whereas like I don't have to pull anything out. I love that. So the next question is, how many babies do you want? And I have 2 already. I would love to have 4. I am an only child, and Matthew is a family of 5 children, and so we are totally opposite. So I would love to have a big family. 4 would be like honestly my minimum. My max, like you don't come near me if I have more than this, is 7 children. However, I feel like God only knows how many children I will be blessed with, and I might only get 2 and I might get 10. Like I just don't know. And so if I could choose, I think 4 would be a really nice number, and then like I said, max of 7, because like, dear God, I don't know what I would do with more than 7 children. I don't want to be unfair. I want to make sure I can afford all of them, and I want to make sure that I can give every single one of them love, but for sure 4 children is how much I would love to have. So the next question, and I love this question so much, is what is the largest amount of money you have saved and how long did it take you? And so honestly, I would love to hear your guys' answers as well on this. So if you comment them below, I want to know how much money you saved, what's like the most you saved, and how long did it take you in the comments below, because that is so interesting. However, let's start from the beginning. When I was about 16 weeks pregnant with Oliver, my husband and I found out that he was going to have to be called for a year-long deployment over in Iraq and Afghanistan. He was going to be in both places. And so that was like really shattering news. And if you don't know, Matt and I actually met in the Army Reserves. I did 8 years, and that's where we met. And so we found out he was going to get deployed. He was leaving a month after Oliver was born. I was completely shattered because I was just like, how, one, am I going to literally take care of a baby by myself for an entire year? And also, like, he's going to miss out on all of the things, you know, like walking, whatever it may be. Thank you, God, and thank you to all of the men and women who served before us, who set up, you know, cell, whatever it is that allowed us to FaceTime and keep contact, because literally my heart goes out to any woman or man who suffered through not being able to know where your spouse was at any given time, or be able to talk to him at the end of the day, or whatever it may be. That was a savior. That was literally the best. So my heart goes out to anyone that literally did not have that. Anyways, so while he was deployed, he was making really great money, really great money, hazard pay, all of that. And so we were able to save a lot of money. I think we were able to save around $24,000 with also having all of our bills still, because I obviously was using everything that we would use. He just wasn't here. And so, yeah, I think we were able to save around $24,000. So I don't know how long that would be for us to save it, like over the year. Well, he didn't stay a whole year. He stayed 11 and a half months. They got to come home a little bit early. But yeah, so over the course of almost a year, we were able to save that much money. So that is definitely the most money that we have ever saved. At one time. So yeah, that was really nice. However, would I take the money over him being away for a year? Definitely not. Money is not worth that much to me. Family is number one always. Next question, I really love this question, and it's really important, is how do you and how often do you discuss finances with your husband? So honestly, Matt was always the one who wanted to talk about finances in the beginning, and I just really was shut off from that because I had a debt and I didn't have very much money when we were dating, and I worked like a part-time job, and I just wasn't really responsible, and I was almost kind of ashamed because Matt had owned a house. He literally had a great job, and so I kind of felt like almost lesser. Those were my own feelings. That was not something he was projecting onto me at all. So once we had kids, or I would say actually once we got married, I was like, okay, I probably should start talking to Matt about finances because we, you know, are married now. And then once I started talking about finances, it came out of me like word vomit. And that's kind of how I was like, hey Matt, I really want to try this budgeting by paycheck and like whatever else. And then that's how it all evolved to where we are now. And so discussing it with him was really easy because he was always open to talking about finances and wanted me to talk about it more often, to be honest. And so that was super easy. How often do I talk to him about finances is probably, in the beginning, it was all the time because I was so excited. But now it would be if something comes up or every single week. So we decided that Fridays would be our like set day if we haven't talked about it all week. However, we usually do keep pretty good on track, and he trusts me 100% because he's seen like how motivated I am by it. So I try to keep him as involved as possible because it's his finances as well, but I definitely don't talk to him about it every single day unless I absolutely need to. Okay, so the next question is, when are you planning to do your Mecca trip? And I really love this question, and I'm really surprised with how many people actually ask me about my Mecca trip, and I love it, and if you have questions about it, I'd love to answer them. So my plan is, God willing, that I would love to go late 2021. However, with everything happening, COVID, whatever, I'm really like uncertain what's going to be happening in the world at that point, because literally this was supposed to be a 2-week thing and we're almost into August. So I really am losing hope with that being a reality, but that is the goal, November 2021. Really excited about that, as long as I have the money saved too. Like that is also a huge factor, is like I can't go if I don't have the money saved, right? And now my husband is really, really wanting to go with me, and so I have to double plan for finances, you know, now that he wants to go. So we're hoping November 2021. Okay, love this question. Do you recommend paying off smaller debts first or just go for the big ones? So this is definitely a really good topic that a lot of people have different opinions on. Here's my opinion. Yes, it can be really motivating. Say you have 3 debts. One is $1,000, one is $2,000, one is $3,000. It can be really motivating for you if you pay off that $1,000 debt first, because you see something tangible. Like I paid off $1,000. I'm motivated to pay off that next one. I know I can do it. I've done this one. So a lot of people are motivated by that. Personally, and this is just personal, I would go for whichever one has the largest interest rate and go from there. So say your $1,000 one has a 5% interest rate, but your $3,000 one has a 2% interest rate. You should definitely tackle the 5%, because over time, that 5% is going to incur more money, and you're just gonna end up actually wasting more money in the long run, because you're gonna get more money in interest. And so you're actually going to be paying more money in the long run. So yes, it's really motivating to see a debt go away if you tackle the smaller ones first. But I personally would go for the highest interest, because that will save me so much money in the long run. That would be my advice, is highest interest. Start there first. All right, so this is going to be the final question for part 1 of this Q&A, and I love this question, obviously. So what is your best tip to save money? Hands down, best tip for you is to take one day at a time. And that's honestly in anything in your life. If you're trying to quit smoking, if you're trying to quit drinking, if you are, trying to save money, if you are trying to work out, if you want to work towards a success in a business or whatever it may be, tomorrow is never promised. Today is the day to make every action you can to further yourself and to better yourself. And so I would even go almost a step further to say take every transaction at a time, because maybe I'm not thinking about buying a coffee right now, but say I go out and I'm driving to Target and I'm like, it sounds really good, a coffee. Do I need that coffee, or do I just want that coffee? Am I looking for immediate gratification in that coffee? Am I looking for something tasty and yummy, but it's gonna cost me almost $6, So I need to take that one transaction at a time and think, okay, do I absolutely need this, or is it just something I'm looking for right now? It's tasty, it's whatever it is. Or could I save that $6? That $6 could go towards my Mecca trip, or it could go towards my laptop, or whatever. And so just thinking about every transaction, one transaction at a time, will help you to kind of identify like where you're spending your money. Should I spend my money here? And then that should in turn allow you to save more money in the long run. All right, you guys, that's just going to be the end of part 1. I'm honestly getting really sleepy, and it's really, really hot in my house right now, and I need to get dinner started. So there will definitely be a part 2 coming, and most likely a part 3, because there's just a lot of questions. I will do my best to answer all of the questions. If there are repetitive questions, I will just lump them all into one. And so I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you guys so much for supporting me and for watching. If you have not subscribed yet to this channel, definitely hit that red button, because our family is incredible here, and we really, really love your support. So thank you so much for watching. Bye.